It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for another double feature Friday. And this week I'm talking about two Australian horror films, 1971's Wake and Fright and 1982's Next of Kin, not to be confused with the Patrick Swayze Next of Kin. All right, so let's start with Wake and Fright. I had never heard of this film, and my husband suggested that we watch it, and honestly, I'm very glad I did, but it is also super intense. Wake and Fright is directed by Canadian director Ted Kotcheff, and it stars Gary Bond as John Grant and a surprising Donald Pleasance performance. I had no idea Donald Pleasance was in this film. I would say honestly it's my favorite performance of his. He is so wonderful in this film. This is a really intense movie, and if you're not into animal violence, which I'm not a fan of, this has a super intense and very long scene of kangaroo hunting, and it is very, very real. There is a disclaimer at the end of the film, or a producer note, which states that the whole kangaroo hunting scene was filmed during an actual kangaroo hunt. So it is a little tough to watch. I found we had to stop it halfway through and take a break, and we finished the film a couple days later, which I don't normally like to do, but it was so intense I just couldn't watch it anymore. So this film has a huge fan following. Nick Cave loves this film. Quentin Tarantino also loves the other film I'm going to talk about. This film came out in 1971, and then they wanted to do a more recent sort of DVD and then Blu-ray release, but I guess the only known negative was too poor quality, so they couldn't actually do any sort of upgraded release other than VHS until 2009. I think someone found the negative somewhere in the States. I think it was in Baltimore. I could be wrong there. So they managed to find the original negative, and they saved it and restored the movie back to its original glory, and now we have it on beautiful baby blue. I guess it was released on Blu-ray in 2009, and the film also got an additional Cannes Film Festival showing. So this is one of only maybe two films that has been shown at the Cannes Film Festival twice, because it was shown there on its original release in 1971, and then again in 2009 when they had a better quality version of the film available. Martin Scorsese also says that this is it is a horror film unlike no other. It doesn't, like, there's also something that comes to mind would be the film Possession starring Sam Neill, which I'm dying to talk about at a later date. That film is also a very intense horror film, but it kind of hits the ground running. It's overwhelming in that way where you don't really know what's going on and everything's just being thrown at you. This one starts off a bit slower. You kind of get to know the lead character, John Grant. You're following him. He's a school teacher just at the start of Christmas break. So he's teaching at this outback school, and he wants to get back to his girlfriend who is in Sydney. I think her name is Robin. And so he takes the train to this kind of bigger town to then fly to Sydney from there. This town has the nickname of the Yabba. I don't know the actual full name of the town. And so he's in the Yabba, and he befriends a policeman or police officer while drinking beer, then goes to this sort of like secret gambling. It's called 2-Up or something. It's like a heads and tails gambling thing. And he wins a bunch of money there, but gets too excited and loses all his money, including what he was going to use to buy a plane ticket to go to Sydney to visit his girlfriend. So then he's kind of stuck in the Yabba, he befriends a sort of maybe one of the like wealthier men in town, and he hangs out with him, goes back to his house. That wealthy man says, you know, you can stay here or whatever. And then that wealthy man's friends come over, and sort of like it turns into this night and day of partying. I'm not even sure how long it goes on for, maybe a couple days, and Donald Pleasance is there. Donald Pleasance is this sort of like semi-homeless man who's also a doctor, very intelligent, but also very terrifying. And he does just this is my absolute favorite Donald Pleasance performance that I've ever seen. It is so good. Yeah, and they get into this crazy night of kangaroo hunting. This poor guy, John Grant, is like so out of his element. You can tell he's overwhelmed and just at a loss. Like, he lost all his money, he was destitute, and he doesn't know what his options are. I don't want to kind of give away the ending of the film, but what happens was pretty unexpected. It's a super good movie. I recommend it 100%. It's a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Total came out of left field. I had no expectations, obviously. I never heard of this, but yeah, it's really good. It is based on a book. It's based on a novel by Evan Jones. And there hasn't been a remake of this film, but there was a mini-series, I think a 2-season mini-series. It came out in 2017. I haven't watched it. I saw a trailer for it. It looked interesting, but I haven't taken the time to watch it. Go and watch Wake and Fright. It is great, and let me know. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. And next up is Next of Kin. So I watched this movie a couple months ago. I was actually looking for Blu-rays online. I think I put in Argento into the search, or Giallo, and for some reason this film came up. I think it's because people liken it to Argento's Suspiria. I think that's a pretty fair comparison. This film came out in 1982. It was co-written and directed by Tony Williams, starring Jackie Karen as Linda Stevens, Alex Scott as Dr. Barton, Gerda Nicholson as Connie, and John Jarratt as Barney. So this is also a movie that Quentin Tarantino loves. And I think he's been pretty heavily influenced by this film. Maybe not heavily, but there are definitely some influences on Tarantino that you can see if you watch this movie. It is so beautiful. I would say both these films are stunning, and both of these films, well, I didn't mention this about the first one. Wake and Fright, I feel like really puts you in Australia, in the outback. You can feel the heat. When they're drinking beer after beer after beer, it made me just want a beer so bad. Like, the heat is palpable, I feel like. They did a great job of setting the tone and the climate, like you can just feel it. And I would say the same for Next of Kin. Both films have these great sort of like diner, bar, like the locations have this really lived in feel, which I really appreciate. And I sometimes find with maybe North American films, you can tell things are set and they don't at all look or feel lived in, or you don't get a good sense of the vibe or something. I don't know. But both of these films, you can feel like the energy of the place. So Next of Kin starts with the character of Linda. She has to come back to her hometown because her mother passed away and left her this huge nursing home or retirement home. She's coming back to sort of take over and decide what to do with the estate. Her coming back into town, she goes to this sort of local diner and is just talking to the diner owner and his son, and you kind of get like a sense of her and the town itself or the area. She goes to the home. She knows everybody. She's kind of friendly with the residents there and seems comfortable. I mean, it seems like a pretty smooth transition for her kind of taking over, other than the fact that she seems pretty young. And then she's reunited with her boyfriend, who's played by John Jarratt, and Barney. This is a very slow burn of a movie. But I feel like the one thing, and I don't hate slow burn movies. I think I actually really enjoy them. But the one thing about this movie that makes it super enjoyable is the tension. The tension is so well done throughout the slow burn setup that I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. And then you have the payoff of the last 20 minutes where all the action happens. And the payoff is totally worth the wait, I think, in my opinion. This also is a 4.5 or 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy this film. I think Jackie Karen did a wonderful job playing Linda. I don't really want to give anything away. So, I mean, she is reading through her mom's diary. So when she gets to the home, there's some weird stuff that kind of happens right off the bat. One of the residents has drowned in the bathtub right after she gets there. Another resident has a stroke. And then she starts to suspect that maybe the house is haunted or there's just weird things happening. So then she's reading through her mom's diary and realizes that, oh, like a lot of residents have actually drowned. Maybe a disproportionate amount of people have drowned in this during the life of this retirement home. And she starts to get suspicious. She starts thinking that maybe the doctor and one of the employees, maybe they're working together to kind of knock off these residents. I don't, again, want to give away the ending. It's totally worth having not spoiled, I think. I will say this though, the final scene of the film is possibly one of my favorites. I guess I can't really talk about it because I will give it away. I'm not going to say anything. I say just watch it. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. I think that's it for this week's Double Feature Friday. Thank you so much for watching this video. Next week, I should be doing the Forgotten Jolly box set volume 3. That is my hope and dream. I think I can make it happen. So it's just I saw Wake and Fright this week and I just thought I have to talk about this film. And I had already seen Next of Kin and I really enjoyed that one. I kind of felt like they paired up well. So if you want a fun Australian horror double feature, and it's also like a Tarantino endorsed double feature, yeah, check these out. They're both very good. Thank you for watching this video and that's all for me. Bye for now.